We're talking economy? Look around. Which brings me to retail, strangely enough. Retail has always been something for nothing. Yes, it has. But you know what? At least there was fair value before. Now, here's what's going on. Pick any retail store. Pick a pharmacy. Pick a drugstore. Pick a chain store that sells widgets, that sells electronics, mattresses. Pick any retail store that waits for a Hallmark holiday to have a big sale. Any excuse for a sale is a Hallmark holiday with them, because people can't wait to save money and beat you up over the price of something. And since everything costs more these days to get, it's going to cost the retailer less to put it out the door. He will not spend what he should. In other words, there aren't enough people to go around. Go into any grocery store, go into any pharmacy, go into any electronics store, any retailer at all. There will be 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, even the big box places, 20 cash register stations. How many cashiers do you see? 2. And then you go into each individual department to try and get something. Where are the extra people in that department? They're up at the register because there aren't enough people to check out who's buying stuff. So every retailer is using the least amount of people possible to turn around the most profit they can. And are they paying them a living wage? No, they're not. They're paying them $10 an hour or thereabouts and expecting them to work any hours they throw at them, overtime, etc. Well, not much overtime because you got to pay for that. But here's the other part of the retail mystery these days, which is really not a mystery. It's a pain in the neck. Look at the economy. Nobody in the retail industry at the top end of those ladders is looking at the economy or television or the newspapers or the internet, because if they were, they'd see something. They would see that there are umpteen million people out of work, that everybody's taking a job well below their pay grade, well below their abilities in order to put food on the table. Well, guess what? Those retailers are hounding people to get credit cards. Does anybody remember how we got in this mess in the first place? Yeah, credit cards. Duh. You keep beating people up to get credit cards and beating your own people up that work for you to make them responsible for procuring credit cards from the customer. First of all, the customer is going to kick you in the teeth and walk out. Second of all, it's not going to happen. Third of all, you're going to get angry at your employees for not getting their fair share of credit cards from everybody, and everybody loses. Nobody's paying attention to the economy, and they're all trying to keep their share of whatever money they can grab at the expense of everyone else. How about the medical part of things? Talking government and money and Obama and healthcare, and oh boy, here we go. Medicare, Social Security, retirement. I've seen this email several times, and it makes a lot of sense, and I don't know how many times it's going to circulate as just a folklore thing, or if it's actually ever going to come to fruition, but boy, I wish it would. The idea that letting Congress fend for itself. No pensions. They work till they work. When they're done, like we are. We have to get our own 401ks, our own retirement plans. The company's not going to foot the bill anymore, meaning the U.S. government. Let them fund their own retirement. And as far as their special medical that they've got, that we can't touch, no, let them get our health care. The health care we are forced to get. HMOs, PPOs, with the deductibles, with the co-pays, with everything else. And you can't go here, but you can go here. If you go here, it costs you double. If you go here, it costs you triple. You can't go there. You want this done? No, it's going to cost you. It's going to take you another 6 months. No, that hospital can't take you because they don't take Medicare patients. It's a joke. And you know what? That's the sad part. Things have gotten so bad, it's a joke. Since we're on the government, let me move to a part of the government that is a soft spot in my heart and it should be in all of our hearts. The military. We've been in Afghanistan for 10 years, and within the last few days, the worst day of a helicopter being shot down and 31 Navy SEALs losing their lives, Iraq, and all the rest of everything that's gone around that. Just the idea of being in this conflict and what we've gone through to get to this conflict and get out of it and try and fix it, and all of the junk that's gone with it, and the crap in the Middle East and everything else. The military is not immune to these problems with the economy. The soldiers don't have, and this went back to Vietnam, this probably went back to before I was born, World War I, World War II, they all probably dealt with it, but I think in the 50s, 40s and 50s and 60s, maybe it was a little better prior to Vietnam, as far as the military being taken care of and revered when they got home. The Vietnam veterans went through hell on both ends of the world. When they got home, things were horrible. They were horrible. People looked at them because they didn't like the war, and they took it out on the soldiers. The soldiers are homeless, they've lost limbs, they don't have very good health care. Well, guess what? Things have come full circle. We've got Afghanistan and Iraq and all these other things going on in the Middle East. Guess what happens to the military when they come home now? Same stuff. Not good health care, not good support, no homes, no jobs. Obviously no jobs because the economy's in the crapper. So when they're done with the military's done with them. Oh, Agent Orange from a long time ago? We don't know anything about that. The post-traumatic stress disorder, they'll give it a name, but are they going to fix it? No. Are they going to help these guys? These women? These soldiers? No, they're not going to help them. They're going to invent reasons not to. They're going to double talk their way into it and not help them because it costs money. Let the congressmen's sons and daughters go there and serve, not get the special privileges and treatment that most of them do. You tell me, you get a list together of the Congress people, congressmen, congresswomen's sons and daughters that are serving in the military that aren't in San Diego, that aren't in Hawaii. You know what I mean? That are in harm's way. Find out who they are and then come talk to me. Until then, they get special privileges and they're supposed to be working for us. Congress is supposed to be working for us. That changed a long time ago. A long time ago. And the other end of this for military families now are on food stamps. There are families living either on barracks or on off-site from the base in their own housing or whatever that cannot afford on military salary. There are families where the husband and the wife are both in the military and they can't afford groceries. God forbid they should have a child or any more than one child in their family while they're in the military, because they may very well have some military medical and so forth, but you know what? On a day-to-day basis, they can't afford groceries. They've got to be on the WIC cards in order to afford food. Do you know what kind of laughingstock that shows to the rest of the country? Excuse me, the rest of the world? When our own military are poor? That's insane. Speaking of poor and where the money comes from, I have a question. Are casinos the great American hope or more greed? As I said in program number 1, you may not have heard it. I'll put it out again so you can get that information. But the feedback from casinos was supposed to be, oh, that extra money is going to help education. That extra money is going to help fund all of these other programs and help roads, and you won't have tolls anymore. I'm sorry, but maybe it's just Illinois that doesn't work in. You know, I know that there are various states that are better off with, you know, the casinos like Nevada, for instance, and so forth. And there's other states in the union that are better off in different ways because of different tax structures. But you know what? anything close to home in the Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin area related to taxes and related to what schools are benefiting, it ain't happening. Somebody's getting that money. They make billions and billions of dollars, and yes, they pay taxes, but you know there are a big line of greasy pockets between the slot machines and where that money's supposed to go. That's my feeling. You want to prove me wrong? Please let me know. My general thing here at the end related to trying to fix any of this is to start small and not with the rhetoric that we keep hearing year after year from all the politicians. It's spend less on stupid stuff. Pardon all of the S's that I threw out there, but spend less on dumb things, okay? Oddball projects. You use from time to time, the news media loves to trot these things out. They come out with, oh, there was a study on ants, or there was a study on aardvarks, or there was a study on pigs and what they do and the mating habits of, west suburban flies. All of these studies, whatever they are, bear no importance at all to the day-to-day living and working that we're trying to do and trying to survive in this country. Things are so bad at so many levels. Start by getting rid of those dumb projects that cost money. There's no earthly reason for it at all. Pork belly politics, pork barrel politics, either way. When those bills that Congress passes, that everybody gets the big news story on and everybody sees the big headlines and the pages and pages in the newspapers, which are going away, by the way, obviously with the internet, but all of that information on those big bills, after the bill is passed or almost till it's just to the point of being passed, you start to hear about the little stuff that's in those big ass bills. Little things that are hidden by the people still trying to make money. The greedy people that are along the way with those greased pockets looking for money out of these congressional activities. Little special interests that want their piece of the pie. And there it is in those big bills Congress is passing. They're all smiles, they're shaking hands, the president signs the bill, and before you know it, more money is thrown out the window, out the door, down the sewer, somewhere it doesn't belong. So somebody else is getting money from guess who? You and me and your neighbors who can't afford a meal. This has been Boomerangst, a series about issues affecting this country and the world for that matter. I'm your host, Ray Moore. Any comments, suggestions, feedback, please leave them at the email on your screen, femurload@comcast.net. I'm Ray Moore. Thanks for listening.